Hi everyone, I'm Sidney. For those of you that don't know, I am a father, an ex-national athlete, or currently still trying to be an athlete. And yeah, I think I want to make some lifestyle changes, and I want to, start to consider nutrition more seriously. I want to eat better. I want to have more energy in my daily routine, especially running after my kid and all that. So I engaged the help of the guys from Active Health, and with me here today is Azdina from Active Health. So
Hello,
she's here to
everyone.
answer some of my queries and hopefully make sense and benefit some of you out there who have also chimed in with some questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so Aslina, first question I have right is for someone like me, a working adult, trying to be an athlete, trying to keep healthy and with a full day of work and limited food options outside. Um, how would you advise us to have a balanced diet, or what kind of diet should we adopt to incorporate everything like balance me with proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and things like that?
Yeah. Okay. So, hi, Sydney. Really nice to be with you today. So I think
Mm.
your question is a really like there's a mountain of things to
Yeah, yeah,
answer.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, so because it's a very broad question. But let me begin with like saying that there's a lot of information out there. I think there's a lot of I think every other day we will see some funny thing pop out online, talking
Yep.
about which diet is the best. Let's have this, and let's have less protein or more protein, or
Yep.
less carbs. So
Yep.
the best way actually to do it is number one, what actually suits you, right?
Mm.
So and secondly, I think we cannot go wrong with the old age information about our balanced diet. So I think in
Yep.
Singapore we do have our guidelines from My Healthy Plate. So I think having different food groups, such as I think your whole grains, having your lean proteins, having
Mm.
fruits and vegetable incorporated into each meal, with the common serving sizes, I think that will be
Mm.
helpful. So let me just share a little. Let's say you are looking at the healthy plate. That's about a 10-inch plate. And then we would like to fill it with a quarter whole grains, a quarter protein, and the protein that we are actually encouraged to have more of would be our fish. Okay, our fish, our both a mix of fatty fish and white fish, and our tofu.
Mm.
And then fill up the remaining part, half of your plate, with fruits and vegetable, right? So
Mm.
coming to your question of how do we get all the nutrients, right? So I think in a way it's actually not so easy to quantify, correct? Because there is
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
indicator inside our body to tell us that we are eating enough, correct? Because I
Yeah.
think with
Yeah.
sleep we can know, okay, 7 to 9 hours, and then we put a tick
Mm.
to it.
Mm.
But with nutrition, having a rainbow, a variety, right? So I think when it comes to fruits, don't just incorporate, one or two types, but have the variety of fruits. Yep. So that is the basis of that. Yep. So maybe can
Mm.
I ask you a little, like, how does your breakfast, lunch, and dinner look like?
Okay. I think in the past, I didn't really bother because I was a bit
Mm,
younger, so
okay.
I could eat anything I want. So in the past, breakfast would be a bowl of noodles, your
mm,
typical mincemeat noodles.
mm,
Lunch would be whatever I fancy depending on the
okay.
day, and dinner would be again whatever I fancy. But now I'm a bit more cautious. So breakfast I stay away from carbs. So I after I finish my exercise, I get a coffee. I will go to get either a bowl of yong tau fu, or just the veggies and the meat from the mixed rice store for breakfast. So I try not to have carbs there, and then lunch would be if possible, my healthier option to me would be a plate of economical rice. That's when I will get my portion of veggies, portion of meat,
Mm,
and then dinner is the one that I have little control over,
Okay.
because dinner is always at home, and you're eating with your family, and sometimes the kid wants to eat something, or sometimes your family members want to eat something else. So dinner is the one that I feel I have the least control over lah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And some examples of your dinner would be
Uh, wide ranging.
ah
Wide ranging.
okay.
But yeah, wide
And
ranging.
I'm assuming that your training is in the morning.
Yeah, currently, like I said, I do I try to do a lot of running,
Mm.
so I get my running done in the morning before breakfast.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
I think it sounds like you are actually exercising in the morning on a fasted state, right? Where you're
Sort of,
not
yeah. Yeah.
when you're not eating anything. So maybe just to share, because you are a trained athlete previously, and you're still you're not new in the area of training. So being on a fasted state is something that you can easily adapt to, but for the general population, sometimes they're not used to being exercising in a fasted state, so that may pose a problem to them in terms of performance. They may tend to become slower, they may be fatigued faster, but I
Yeah.
think for yourself, you actually will be quite used to it, and you probably will see that your performance is constant. And one of the things is that for maybe it's really ranging. One thing about nutrition is that it's ranging from person to person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you as an individual is okay to exercise, and then after that not consume any carbohydrate, I think that works fine. But one of the benefits of having carbohydrates after exercise is that it helps you to top up your glycogen level, especially if you are exercising every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think because you actually do consume your carbs in the afternoon and at night, right?
Yeah.
It actually helps you to actually put it back in, especially just to understand, your run in the morning is about 30 minutes,
Yeah. Range
45
from
minutes.
30 to less than an hour lah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think because it is not like a full-fledged training where it's three,
Yeah.
4 hours, a glycogen
Yeah. Yeah.
restoration may not be that critical. But it
Mm.
may help in your hunger pangs later, in overeating at night. So, but however, it's dependent from individuals to individuals. I do hear a
Okay.
good bit of you trying to incorporate a lot of vegetables, a lot of whole grains, trying to get that economical rice, and
Yeah. Yeah.
meeting your sufficient intake. Yep. So I think that's a good thing, because in Active Health, our motto is better beats perfect. So I think the fact that you are actually making some changes into your diet, and I know that no longer can whack anything, right? You need to be more mindful of what you are
Yeah.
eating. I think that's a
Yeah.
great start. Yep. So
Mm.
good job, I think, on really trying to meet the different food groups. How about your fruit intake? Do you factor that in?
For me, I don't. Not at the moment. I
Ah,
would say not at the
okay.
moment. It's not a consideration. Like when I go and look for meals, I don't specifically find fruit. Um,
Mm,
I do, however, see it as some sort of top up. Like for example, after exercise, if I know that I have a full work day and I can't get breakfast in time, I do know that I would get some fruits
yep,
after exercise straight away.
yep.
And also dinner time, like I said, dinner time is a good opportunity for me to get fruits, because we're at home with family, with the kids and all that. So they would also require the fruits, right? So it forces
Yes.
us to take in the fruit as well.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So I think a really nice thing that you have going on there. One of the benefits of actually eating fruits, especially after your workout, is that fruits actually helps to do many wonderful things. It's like the magic, pretty much like the magic potion for the recovery, right? One of
Yeah.
the beautiful things about fruits is that it's known to actually reduce muscle soreness. perceived muscle soreness, it actually helps you. It has a lot of antioxidants. So I think having topping up your diet with like berries, your kiwis, your oranges, simple things like even oranges and bananas are actually very good for you, because especially if you exercise every day, it actually prevent a lot of muscle soreness. It helps you to recover a lot faster. The antioxidants in there actually reduce the oxidative stress. So sometimes when you exercise, right, your body, it is not a natural, it's a good thing, but it's not a natural state in the body. So the stress is a good thing, but that will actually, having too much of that stress actually prevents you from recovering faster. So having a lot of fruits, especially meeting the minimum guideline of 2 fruits a day, right? And you rightly said that because I think your daughter is someone that you also want to cultivate very good eating habits. So I think getting her to snack on the fruits, okay, actually helps her to meet the requirement, and helps her to learn that whenever she is hungry, a good alternative will actually be fresh fruits, instead of the usual candies and crackers, that is provided for kids sometime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think the next thing that I was thinking of, the
Mm.
next issue lah, so called, was trying to keep this sustainable, right?
Ah.
So right now, if you ask me, in my workplace, or in my daily life, if you ask me to eat healthy, to have a balanced diet, the only thing I can think of is the the mixed rice
Mixed
stall,
veggie rice,
right? Yeah, exactly. Because
Yep.
after that, it's all the extremes, your chicken rice, or your bowl
Mm.
of noodles and all these things. So
Yeah.
yeah, what are other options that we have, or some other healthy alternatives that we can look at?
Okay, I think very good question that you have over there. So I think because of your occupation, right? You're very busy running around. And I think in the workplace that you have, one of the things that we actually want to actually take note is actually planning, right? So we want to actually plan to make sure that you actually have sufficient options. Now, let me go through one of the ways for you to actually fill up, for your lunch options at work. So the one thing that you can do is actually, if you are, I know that everybody goes for the chai peng, right? Because it's easy to choose, right? But even your simple chicken rice, right? Okay, I know that it's not the best, but if we really want to maybe like modify, we can actually go to the chicken rice store and order the noodle version. So they actually have your steamed chicken noodle, and then we
Yeah.
actually want to make sure we order some vegetables on the side. So that can be a meal that is an alternative, right? And I think other than the chai peng, let's say if we go Korean, right? And then there's some Korean stalls that are very famous. We can actually have the rice, and then some teriyaki chicken, and then ask for a top up of vegetables. So this can
Yeah.
be an option when we are eating out. Good choice. I think try to stay away from options that actually have a lot of processed food, like our fishball noodles. So a lot of people, yes, it's true. Caloric wise, it tends to be lower, but if you actually break down the composition of maybe a typical fishball noodle, it does not have a lot of protein to keep you full, right? So
Uh,
because fish balls tend to have a lot of flour, and if you look at the protein content, it's not very high unless they actually mention that it's actually using handmade fish ball.
yeah. Yeah.
So, and one thing about fishball noodle, right? If you look at the composition, right, there's not much vegetables in there.
Yeah.
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 So to me, I think when we go out to choose our options, um really look at how we can get number one, whole foods. So I think having the freshest options, like the whole
Mm,
fish. I think when you are choosing yong tau fu, have things like tofu, egg, right? More of that instead of the processed meat and the fish
mm,
balls, and those kind of thing. And I know that
mm,
sometimes we tend to be very busy at work, but having canned tuna, uh, in your office, and then some wholemeal wrap, right? So all you
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
do is just plan your groceries on the weekend, right?
yeah,
So some of the things that you can actually top up is like your wholemeal pita bread, right? Your wraps, and then buying like some salad in a box or in a bag. And then if you're
yeah.
really busy during lunch, just have one pita, stuff in the tuna, vegetables. I mean, if you want, you can have some cheese, like one slice, and then there you go. You have an instant lunch that is filled with carbs, and not just normal carbs. It's really using whole grains. You will have your protein in there, and sometimes the tuna, if let's say if it's in sunflower oil, it has omega-3 and vegetables to keep you full. Yeah, so that
Mm.
can be one possible option. And I think
Yeah.
when you order, right, I think now Deliveroo, all these order company, Food Panda and all that, Grab Food,
They have many things,
they have
many
many
options.
things, yes. And it's very, very easy for us to actually get all the food options. So one of the things that I always struggle with is, even for myself, is how to order in a balanced meal, right? Because sometimes they just don't offer that option. So one of
Yeah.
the ways is actually to have my vegetables during a snack. So what I do is that I just prepare some carrot sticks, have a little bit of hummus, and if my lunch option I can't have vegetables, I do it during lunch. Yep.
Mm.
And also for breakfast, I think you mentioned that you have your yong tau fu. So one of the ways also is, if you like, if you actually, I know you don't eat carbs in the morning, so you can have a salad with your vegetables and your meat in there. So that can be an option for you. Yeah. So these
Mm.
are some of the possible options. So do your grocery shopping, and I think if you can transport all these food options to, and store it at your work, it actually allows you to eat better during the work day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a that's a very good suggestion, lah. Because
Yeah,
most of the time when you have a 1 hour lunch break, then you want to think about where to go and eat. By the time you
correct.
go and find a place and
Yeah,
everything, you
lor.
don't have time to really. So one of the good points I think you mentioned was planning.
Mm,
The other few things that I took, I think, was having a bit of carbs for breakfast straight after your exercise and all that. Because I think that really helps your, like you mentioned, the glycogen levels, and
mm,
also just general energy throughout the day.
yep.
I don't want to go around the day walking around my workplace feeling like I run a marathon when I actually just did a small workout. I think also fruits I can easily incorporate. I have a fridge that is accessible to me in my office.
Mm,
Easily buy some fruits and put over there, whether it's
yep.
berries or bigger varieties. And then of course, the lesser of the processed foods, lah, right?
Yeah.
I think being a rugby player, my traditional mindset was like, oh, protein, muscles, protein important. So
Yes.
every meal I would try, oh, protein, 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 protein. Even now say, hey, yeah, less carbs, more protein, more protein.
Mm.
So I would see that what you mentioned just now, having a more balanced diet. I think that would be the way to go for me moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think.
and I think no, I think I'm quite excited to try out some of these things at my workplace. And of course, I will let you know whether I succeed,
Nice.
and hopefully it'll be sustainable. Yeah,
Yes, yes. So I think, sustainability is very difficult, especially if we, sometimes we become very enthusiastic, and then we try to do an overhaul of our whole entire
yeah,
diet. So
yeah,
that becomes actually very difficult. So I think with Active Health, like, I really like our motto, which is better beats perfect. So just working on one habit at a time. So let's say if you want to just work on maybe one habit first, which is to maybe start stocking up at work with healthier options. That
mm,
will be something that you want to work on, and after that is a regular behavior that you don't even think about. Then
yeah,
we can move on to the next one. That makes it very achievable, very sustainable. Even some simple swaps, like adding just a slice of bread, whole grain bread in the morning, and we work on that then it actually becomes more sustainable throughout. Yeah, sometimes people go very extreme, like they've been drinking a lot of sweet drinks and suddenly zero. Then they pingsan lah, they cannot make it. Yeah, because they start to crave, and then it becomes very difficult. Yeah.
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 Okay. I think I found this talk very beneficial. Thanks, Aslina, so much for the information. I'm looking forward to trying out some of these things, especially with the new year. The Some of these things at the workplace, and of course, I think the biggest, if you ask me, of all these things, I think the biggest thing will be sustainability, lah. Like you mentioned, I can have 101 suggestions, but if I only do it for 2 days, then there's no point. So yeah, I look forward to trying this out, and of course, on a whole, eat better.
Yep.
Thank you so
I
much.
wish you all the best, and better beats
thank you.
perfect. So one healthy habit at a time. All the best.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, take care.